Grand Rising, everyone. Grand Rising. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on the time of day that you watch this video. But for me, it is about 9:20 a.m. on November 1st. Yesterday was October 31st, All Hallows Eve. I want to speak about the ancestral ritual. I'm going to speak a little bit about my experience last night that happened, because to be favored and loved by the universe, the spirits, the ancestors, the angels. People walk around talking about being highly favored, or I'm highly favored, or I'm highly favored, but they really don't know what it means to be highly favored. People often mistaken materialistic things for being highly favored. And that's not always the case, right? But I wanted to speak on the importance of performing, my personal opinion, the importance of performing ancestral rituals around this time of the year, especially within October 31st up to November 2nd. There are various cultures that perform various different rituals around this time for the ancestors. I personally do it every year around this time. This year, I technically didn't do the ancestral ritual on October 31st, which was yesterday. I had my youngest sister do it because she has never done an ancestral ritual, and I wanted to give her a guidance, guide her on how to not conduct a perfect one or a right one, but just the basis of which I do this simple ancestral ritual on. There's various ways you can do an ancestral ritual. I suggest create one for themselves that resonates energetically with them, right? But I'm going to give you the basic formation of this ancestral ritual that I do every year. It's not overly extravagant. It doesn't have too many components and parts to it. And I think for anyone, whether you're a seasoned in ritual and on your spiritual journey, or you're a beginner and you don't have much time to commit, but you want to create a sacred space and perform a ritual, I think this is probably a simplistic way of performing one. Okay, so basic ingredients or tools or components of the ritual. I use a copper cauldron, a copper pot, 2 white pillar candles, tall, what I think most people refer to in the spiritual community as a 7-day candle, tall glass pillar white candles, a purple candle, a tall pillar purple candle in a jar. And the reason why I say in a glass is because it won't leak, it won't spill. It's a safer way to burn a candle, right? A glass of water in a goblet or a wine glass. I don't use faucet water. I use bottled water. I won't give the spirits and the ancestors and the angels water that I won't drink. So if I'm not drinking faucet water, I'm not going to serve them faucet water. And I advise you to do the same. An incense that resonates with you, or if you don't really have an incense that resonates with you, frankincense and myrrh, an Palo Santo stick. That is all I use during this ritual. I don't make it complicated. I don't add I do more complex ancestral rituals, but they're dependent on different times of the year. At this time of the year, I do a simple, complex one with those components and ancestral money. Now, you can purchase ancestral money. Give me a second. You can purchase ancestral money. I make my own. I design my own ancestral money. If you're someone who's creative and wants to energetically have the money resonate with you and it be your own fruits of your own labor, then simply use AI to generate. Tell AI you want to create an ancestral money, and tell them what do you want it to look like. Type in what you want it to look like, and then after it comes out, if it's not to your liking, you tweak it, right? You keep tweaking it until you get it to your liking. Most ancestral money, normally I would print out ancestral money double-sided, but for this ritual I do not. I only print it out on one side, and on the back side I write intentions, I set intentions, I write notes, I write ancestors' names and things of that matter. Now, once you've set up your altar and your sacred space for all of this, with the copper pot in the middle of the 2 pillar white candles on the outside, the incense to the left behind, on the side behind the copper pot, the glass of water to the right behind the pillar that's on the right, and then the purple candle towards the front, right? Light your candles, your white candles first, then your purple candle. I'm sorry. I'm at the laundromat. The laundromat attendant was talking to me. So, what was I saying? Purple candle in the front. After you set that up, sit, write your intentions. For me, you could do this at any time. You can write your intentions, set your intentions prior to, or you can sit in that energy once you've lit your candles, you have your incense going. Sit and write your intentions, right? Write your ancestor's name, write your intentions on the back side, the blank side of the ancestral money. Now, if you're printing it out on paper, obviously you're going to have to cut the ancestor money out, right? You're not going to burn the whole sheet of paper. So you get as many ancestral bills onto your sheet of paper that you want to print out. You cut them out. The blank side, you write down your intentions. You write down your ancestors' names that you're calling to invoke. On one of them, I tend to write, I'm calling out to all my ancestors, those that I've met, those that I haven't met, those that love me and wish to see me do well, those that want to guide and protect me and clear up space for me, right? And this will tap into ancestors throughout the years, throughout the generations, right? Throughout time and space. So once you've done all that, you light your Palo Santo stick, you call upon the creator of all things, the angels, the spirits, and the ancestors to guide you and protect you during this ritual and to bless this ritual, right? After you've done that, blessed your ritual, Palo Santo, you can snuff it out, let it go out, put it to the side, let it go out, and then think about and focus your energy on what you want, trying to clear up for them, what you're trying to clear up for yourself, what you're asking for, and light your put the first ancestral money into the flame, light it, and put it into the pot in between the portal, right? Because the pillars are like a portal, like a doorway. And just focus your energy on it. Don't rush through the ritual. Take your time after you light each ancestral bill, and focus your energy on those ancestors, talking to them, tapping into them, thanking them, honoring them, telling them that your offering is to clear up space for them, any debts that they owe, and then also to clear up space for you, right, in this realm. Once you've done that and you've spent time in that energy, you decide based on your energy and how you feel. You complete and close out your ritual when you're ready to close out your ritual. But I would advise after you've burned each bill to at least give it time and space before you burn the next one, so that it's received on the other end, so that you're putting energy into it, that your intentions have been set and sealed, and that they receive it on the other side. If your bill doesn't burn completely, that means it wasn't received. It means it wasn't received. So ensure that your bill burns correctly. So that's why you want to give it energy, give that flame energy, and set good intentions and tap into those ancestors that you know, and the ones that you've heard stories about, and the ones that have a link to you, maybe through a couple of generations, and ones that you know and love, but call out to all of them that love you and are guiding you, right? And want to see you win in this realm, and see you do good in this realm, and see you live a fulfilling life, right? So once that's done, I would advise, you journal. I know you hear people say write down. I would say write down what you've heard, write down what you felt, because that's communication. That's communication from the universe, the spirits, the angels, and the ancestors, right? So if you have the incapacity that you're incapable of remembering and you want to recall it later on, then write it down. Once you're done, write it down in your journal, whatever, or wherever you write in. Keep a log of it. The date, the time, the ritual you did, and the thoughts, the things that you heard, the energy that you felt, what was being said to you, right? And then also write down things that occurred, like for my sister, when she was burning her ancestral money, the way the money burned in the flame, though, it was like changing of colors. It was different colors. It was like fireworks. You know how fireworks go off and you see different ranges of fire. Every time she burnt an ancestral bill, there was a different color. Flame turned to different colors, so she made note of that, and she noticed it, and I even noticed it because I stood off in the background of her ritual and fed it energy and called out to the ancestors, and I did a little small attachment onto her ritual. Now, last night, because I'll do a ritual tonight, and then I'll do a ritual tomorrow. Last night, we were visited by 3 spirits. Ogu, Zantor, and the last one, I don't want to make any assumptions who it was. The last one is the one who did the blessing on all the adults in the house. But Ogu came, he did a healing ritual for my sister. She does suffer from an autoimmune disease. She also is diabetic. So he did a healing ritual for her. Is always present with me. And he let me know that. He told me, he was like, you're always hot, right? Lately you've been always hot, feeling hot. He goes, that's because I'm around, I'm been present. And then I have many various machetes that spirit guides have required me and asked of me to buy. And I kindly oblige. So I have various machetes, and one of the machetes he uses is the Lion of Judah machete. And when he was done with the ritual, he told me, take it to your son's room. I want to be with your son. And I took it to the room. I put it next to my son's altar. And my son said to me, why is that? Why are you putting that in here? And I said, Ogu's told me to put it in. He goes, Ogu's out in the living room. So my son came out to the living room. For most people, if you've lived, or if you have lived a small portion of my life and experienced it, I think that for my son at age 18. He's going on 19. He'll be 19 soon, really soon. And he's experienced wonderful things and beared witness to wonderful things that most people wouldn't believe. There were times when he said if he hadn't saw it, if he hadn't experienced it, and somebody told him that it happened, he probably wouldn't have believed it. The protection he has over himself since the time he was conceived in my womb and brought into this world, the angels that were present in the room, in the operating room, the day he came into this world, I knew that he was something special. But right before Ogun left, he was like, oh, I'm gonna go, and she's gonna come. And he was like, oh, my queen, the queen's gonna come. And I said, who, Dantor? And he said, oh, it's Zuli, one of my wives, one of my 3 wives. And I was like, yeah, Dantor? And he was like, yes. And she came. And it's so great. It's not crazy, but sometimes I can see when each spirit leaves and so when the other one comes, and sometimes I can't. They'll start talking and it'll be a whole nother spirit, just as I was just talking to the other one. And she came in and she was talking and she told my sister something directly. She told my sister something. She looked at my son. She told my son. She gave my son a word, a bit of advice, of information pertaining to him. And I want to say this. She said something so profound, and I had been telling my son this for a while. And she said something that was confirmation for him to know that everything up until this point, everything I've been teaching him, everything I've been guiding him on, everything that I've been speaking is the truth. She said, trust yourself. And I'm saying this to each one of you because everybody has to know this. Trust yourself on your spiritual journey. Trust yourself. You're aligned with it. If the universe says we are aligned, you are aligned with us, we support you, trust yourself that you are on the right path. Don't let those echoes of doubt and fear, which is your own thoughts, become more powerful than the higher part of yourself, than your intuition, right? Because those echoes of, oh, I'm not good enough, and they go by many terms. People use various terms to identify what that voice is, right? But the ones that say, oh, this will never happen, that'll never happen, oh, you're not good. Know that you're good enough. Know that you're supported by the universe. Know that the spirits, the angels, the ancestors, they support you. They support you, right? Know that your higher self is guiding you to the version of yourself that you desire to be and need to be in this life, in this realm. And know that you're not selling yourself to some devil. You're not selling yourself, your soul to some being because you are on this spiritual journey of work and you're doing magic and working rituals. Because the truth is that we live in a magical world. We live in a magical realm. It's made up of magic. That's the truth. She gave me a word for someone else to give to them, and then she looked at me. She put her forehead to my forehead, and she went she said, "You, I'm going to talk to you." And then she went like this. And she closed my eyes. And then she said, I will talk to you. And then she said, you understand what I'm saying? And then she looked at me and she goes, you understand what I'm saying? And I said, yes, like that. And then she says, I will talk to you soon, like that. And she goes down falls to her knees. She falls to her knees. And she goes, I'm okay, because I was supporting her. I was holding her up. I was supporting her. And she says, I'm okay. It's okay. I'm good. I'm good. And she put her hands in my hands while she was on her knees before me, and she let go. And then she started chanting, right? She started chanting. Then she fell out, and the next spirit came. The last spirit, the last guide that came actually blessed each and every one of us. He do what most Christians and Catholics call communion, but it's not communion because it's taken from the source in the Christian religion and Catholic religion is taken from the original source, which is spirituality and magic and rituals, right? And he took bread, he flattened it out, he took Manischewitz wine, the great Manischewitz wine, poured it in a wine glass, a flute, and then started with the youngest, and I was the last one. But even before that, Dantour had Ogun did a ritual with frankincense resin. He said, you got charcoal? I need charcoal. I said, yes, I have charcoal. I lit the charcoal. I took the resin from him, the frankincense resin that he had in his hand. I put it onto the charcoal after the charcoal was lit, and he blessed everybody. He did a blessing with frankincense resin. Even on himself, he asked me to do it on him, and I did it on him. It was a wonderful experience. The communion, the ritual with the bread and the wine, what he said to each one of us before we took the bread, he said, you're going to ask for one thing, what you deep desire, what you want. You're going to ask for it and believe that it's going to come, that you're going to have it. And then we ate the bread. He said, I don't need to know what you asked for. You don't have to speak it out loud. Just say it to yourself. Ask and you know, within yourself. And then he hands you the wine, and before you take it and drink it, he says, and as you drink this, you are going to know and have faith that it is already done. And then you drink it. And I was the last one because I'm the oldest. He did my son first because my son was the youngest of me, him and my sister. Then he did my sister. Then he did me. And then when he was done, he took his liquor. He went outside. I followed him outside. And he began to talk to and kind of bless my next door neighbor downstairs that lives underneath me. It was just an experience. My next door neighbor had no idea he was talking to a spirit. He had no idea. He was talking to a real person. I never take for granted any experience that I have with the divine beings, with the universe, with the spirits, the angels, and I never take any of it for granted. I'm always grateful. And it was funny because this morning my sister said to me, I have to tell you, no one else would be able to really handle mentally, emotionally what you experience. She was like, if it wasn't for you guiding me and talking to me and me knowing that everything you've taught me is real from my experiences, I would probably be a non-believer. I would probably think that I'm losing my mind. This can't be real. This can't be happening. She was like, I don't know anybody who was meant for this other than you. when my son first started experiencing it. And I say this because someone out there needs to know your desire to do an ancestral ritual, and you desire at this moment to do one. Take the simple tools that I've told you to use and build on it, right? But make sure it resonates with you. Someone needs to know that their spiritual journey they're on is not the wrong path. Someone needs that encouragement to continue. Someone needs to know that they are not alone. Someone needs to know that they need to just trust themselves. Trust their higher version of themselves. Trust their spirit guides, the ancestors, their angels. Trust the universe. I'm starting to shiver a little bit because the wind is picking up. While I'm done with my laundry, my sister is still doing her laundry. So, yeah, I'm going to get out of here. But as I always say, be good to yourself and each other. Until next time. Love you guys. Bye.